Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice way.
Welcome back, guys. My name is Gene Edwards. You're watching Lubed. This is my preview news video for week number 2 of the Edmonton Oilers NHL season for the 22 and 23 campaign. We got one win already under the belts. The Battle of Alberta is tomorrow night. I did have to kind of switch my schedule around just a bit. So I had to actually do this filming on Friday night. So any news that comes out early Saturday morning, unfortunately, I won't be getting to that until next week, or I might discuss it tomorrow night when I do the review of the Flames and Oilers game. Okay, so not a whole bunch of news this week that did happen. There was one trade, a minor trade, as the Oilers traded defenseman Dmitry Samorukov to the St. Louis Blues for Klim Kostin. That happened on Sunday, so it's kind of old news already. But like I say, I'm only doing the news once a week, and then I'm doing previews. And I'm trying to keep my previews short and simple, so I'm not going to really mix in the news during the week. So that trade happened. When did that trade happen? That trade happened on, I believe it was Sunday. I didn't write it down, but I believe it was Sunday. I believe it was almost a week ago. Kostin was drafted 31st overall in the 2017 entry draft. To this point, he has 5 goals, 6 assists, so he's, like I say, it's a very minor trade, but he is a 6'3", 215 pound Russian-born player. I believe Russian-born, but of Russian descent anyway. And he knows how to throw them, so it gives us another aspect of a little bit of toughness, so that maybe we can keep Evander Kane away from that and potentially breaking his hand or whatever. We need his hands to help McDavid out. So, yeah, I'm okay with that trade. Dmitry Samorukov, I mean, our defense is starting to get really deep. Is there any room for him to play? Not sure. So that was the one thing. So I currently have a subscription to the Oilers Plus. I'm kind of on the fence right now, and I just want you guys to be aware of some of the things that, like, unless you're a super diehard like myself, it might not be the right choice for most people. They have a new version of Oil Change. It's called The Drop. And what I've found so far is it's a very mediocre produced version of Oil Change. I found Oil Change had a lot more, like, it had a narrator. There was a lot more editing, a lot more inside look, whereas I found that The Drop has a lot of content that I've already seen off of YouTube, prior interviews and that. Sometimes it's a little bit of a different angle. And then there is the odd occasion where there's a different view of McDavid or a different view of Woody. But realistically, I don't think it lives up to Oil Change. I thought Oil Change was a much better produced item, and it was free back then. This one, you have to pay. I did the yearly subscription at $59.99 because I do my channel too. I need to have some kind of more inside content of it. You can get it for $8.99. What I would do is try it out for $8.99 and see if you like it for 1 month. And if you like it, then do the $59.99. That's what I would do to the average fan that doesn't follow them as much as, like, a guy that needs to present news off of YouTube like myself or other YouTubers out there. So yeah, it's and I'm still evaluating it. But there's like jersey retirements in there, documentaries. There is some good content. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just think before you go all in on a year, just try a month first and see what you think of it, and then evaluate it from there. Yeah, that's the best advice I can give you. Okay, let's get into next week's schedule. So there's 3 games on hand for next week, as the Oilers are going to be hosting all 3 as they continue their homestand. They'll play Buffalo on Tuesday, Carolina on Thursday, and then an afternoon game, 2 p.m. Mountain, so 1 p.m. Pacific. I guess that's to me that's out here in BC. But it is a 2 p.m. Mountain game in Alberta, so keep that in mind on Saturday as they'll take on the St. Louis Blues. So the Buffalo Sabres just recently added Kyle Opozo as captain of the Sabres. He is likely to be giving it up to Rasmus Dahlin eventually down the road because Kyle Opozo is getting up there. He's probably going to retire in the next 2 to 3 years. So for now, Opozo is the leader, and I think he's a good leader and a well-chosen effort. And this is also the new rebirth Buffalo Sabres. This is going to be a tough game against the Edmonton Oilers. I like what's going on in Buffalo. They had obviously all the Eichel drama and all that kind of stuff, but now that things have started to settle down, this team is going to come around. This team is going to be a pretty good team in the next few years. I think they are now in the trending upward category. I think they're going to give Edmonton a fight. They always seem to give Edmonton a fight, actually. The Sabres are notorious for giving the Oilers a fight. And I remember this, and I always used to get mad because I'm like, why? But they are bad. They're like the Minnesota Wild. They always seem to beat the Oilers. So that could be a tough game for the Oilers. Then they play the Carolina Hurricanes, or host the Hurricanes on Thursday. Both teams have a 1-0 record, and both teams have won by scores of 4-1. As Sabres defeated Ottawa, which is a pretty good team this year as well, and the Canes defeated the Jackets. And then they go on to play St. Louis, which is yet to play. They're playing their first game tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens there. Let's go on to the incident that happened with Darnell Nurse. So, Darnell Nurse got a fine for $5,000 on his late... I thought it was a hit. I thought he got fined for the hit, but it's worded as interference on Vancouver Canucks Kyle Burris. So I did some math here. Darnell Nurse is now officially in his big money contract at according to Cap Friendly, at $9.250 million a year. He got fined $5,000. Okay, so I broke this down. This $5,000 penalty is a 0.0000541% to his yearly income hit. Minimum. It's nothing. Now, if I got hit with a $5,000 fine, that's not a good thing for me. Him, it's peanuts. It's absolute peanuts. So, and it does go to, I guess, the NHL player donation fund or whatever, these fines. But yeah, it's very minimal fine. And to be honest with you, I thought he would get fined for the late hit. They worded it as interference. He probably did deserve a fine of some sort. I didn't think he deemed a suspension, but he probably deserved the fine. Okay, that's pretty much all I have tonight or for this week. Just keep in mind, tomorrow night on Hockey Night in Canada, it is the Battle of Alberta. That will be the late game. And let's hope that the Oilers can make it 2-0. I just saw footage of Nathan McKinnon giving Nazem Kadri his Stanley Cup ring last night on YouTube. And I heard Nathan McKinnon saying that there was like 400 diamonds in this ring. I'm like, holy smokes. Like, wow. Wowza. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for you this week. I'm going to continue doing the news and reviews going forward. Due to my schedule, it may change. I may shoot it on a Friday night and release it on a Friday night. It may even come out on a Sunday. It just depends on my schedule. I do have to work tomorrow morning, so I am doing this now because it would normally be on a Saturday morning shoot, but I had to choose Friday night. Anyway, enough of my babbling. We will see you for my game review of the Edmonton Oilers versus the Calgary Flames tomorrow night. Battle of Alberta, game number 1 of 3. Until then, guys, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay hydrated. I will talk to you tomorrow.
So sharp, so freezing, so cold, behold, frostbite, they feeling